All right, friends, the first thing we're gonna do is the background. That's the negative space, so area we haven't done yet. You are going to have two color options. You're gonna use these gel crayons for your background. And how these work is they're a lot like a glue stick. You take the cap off, you can cap the back. Sometimes they might look like this, sometimes they might look like this. If you have a cleared cap one, just make sure that don't lose it, put it in a very safe spot and cap it when you're done. So what you do is you only need to scoot that up just a little bit, but if it gets too far, twist it down backwards. Sometimes when they're all empty, they'll run out. This might fall out, or they just kind of run out and they don't work anymore. Just raise your hand, I'll come get it, okay? I'm not gonna use a white because white's not gonna show up on white paper. So for this, I'm just gonna start with a yellow, but you can start with whatever color you want. I wanna push lightly, and just like I would with a crayon, I'm gonna outline around the outer edge of my scarecrow, gentle pressure. But I'm only gonna outline till I get to where his shoulder is. So I'm just going around his head, if you need to get the top of his hat, and I'm only going to the shoulders. And what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna color the rest of it in, but I'm only gonna color down to that yellow line. So half of this paper is gonna be yellow and the other half is going to be another color of my choice. So I'm gonna go in, I wanna try to get the white areas as much as I can. I wanna try not to scribble too hard, and I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna go in both directions. Now, why do you think I outlined the outer edge of that scarecrow's head first? Right, because I wanted to stay in the lines and not get any of this inside my scarecrow because it's the background color. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna keep scribbling away, covering all those white areas. Sometimes, friends, you'll notice these little pieces of gel crayon forming. They're like little dots. Please don't try to rub it off with your hand because that will make your hand messy. Just leave them for now. We're gonna get rid of them later. Okay, so once again, while you're using this, you don't want to rub your hand on it because it does stay wet for a little bit. So if you rub your hand while you're using it, you're going to get the color of that gel crayon on your hand. And we don't want to do that because we're not washing our hands today. Now we're going to do the bottom half from the head down. So I'm going to get a new color of my choice. I think I'm going to do, let's try a red. So I've got to go in, and I really got to scoot him up. Somebody must have scooted him down really far down, so be careful. Let's try not to do that. And I'm going to go, and now I'm going to outline his shoulders. And now I'm going to go in and do red in the lower half. So I'm going to cover that lower half with the red. I'm keeping my arm. I'm not trying to push away any of those little pieces because, again, we'll get those later. If I need to get more, I'm just going to twist. All right, so once you have the bottom half done, you're going to do one more thing. You're just going to go with your second color and go just a little bit into the first color. So I'm going to go up just a little bit into the first color with my second color. Okay, friends, so now that we have that, these actually are really fun to use with water. So they look great as they are, but we're gonna smooth and blend them out. So see how we have these little pieces forming or little white areas that didn't quite get covered? Now what's gonna happen with this water is it's gonna smooth that out. So I wanna use just water, and I'm gonna use ballerina toes. And I'm gonna go in and gentle, holding it by the gripper. I'm gonna outline around him so I don't get any in. Oh, I picked up a little bit of that red, so I'm gonna just clean my brush, and we're gonna go in and just kind of smooth that color. Now notice my brush does not sound scratchy. If it sounds scratchy, that means you need to add more water. So now I'm getting near that red, and what's gonna happen? If you go in little circles like this with your ballerina toes, almost like you're dancing, you're gonna notice that some of that red might change colors with your first color. So I did red and yellow, so look what I'm getting. I'm getting a little bit of orange, and I'm just gonna pull that up a little bit, but I wanna leave the top yellow. You don't wanna keep pulling all the way up because then you won't have that beautiful yellow color. Now I'm gonna go in, outline around him, ballerina toes with water, and I'm gonna add some water into the lower part by outlining first and then blending. And remember, we don't want big puddles of water because that will be too much. Just a little bit, and dipping your brush every few seconds. Okay, so that looks really great, friends. It almost looks like a watercolor. So we're gonna put our brush in the water when we're done and wait for the next direction. So now that we're done with the watercolor background, we are going to start to add some yarn for the straw and some scrap paper for the patches. So scarecrows, when they get holes in them, they get patchy. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. You're gonna pick one strip for your patches. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna cut the size square you want of it. So I'm gonna go this way. And then I'm gonna figure out where I want them. So I think I'm gonna put a patch on my shoulder, maybe one on my hat. So I'm thinking it's gonna be this size. And I don't know, maybe I'll do one down on that lower part of my arm. So I'm gonna place that here, but oh, that's a little longer than I wanted. So what can I do? I can cut it like this. Okay, so friends, we're not gonna do, and by the way, if you have any more scraps you wanna put on there, you can. We're going to get a glue stick. We're gonna twist and pull that glue stick off. And we're only gonna twist it a little bit, remember. We don't need to twist the glue stick all the way up, just about that much. And I'm gonna flip this over because I wanna add the glue, or just a little dot's all you need on the back. I'm gonna touch the part that doesn't have glue, and I'm gonna rub. Okay, so now we're going to just rub. I'm gonna add more glue to these ones up here. Dot's all you need. And I'm gonna, oh, so this one was a little too big. So, wrong one. Dot's all you need, and do not pick it up from where the glue is because you will not be washing your hands today. When I'm done with that glue stick, what do I need to do? Snap that cap and return it. I'm now gonna get a Sharpie. I'm just gonna add some lines, some straight lines along the edges of this to look like yarn. Like these patches were sewn into that scarecrow. See, it's already starting to look like a scarecrow. Okay, so now that I have that done, you're going to get one string of yarn. Please do not cut up in more strips than you need. You're going to take that glue stick again, and we're just gonna do a little bit at the time under his hat. If you do it all at once, it's gonna dry on you and it will not work. So you're just gonna add a little bit of glue in one spot, and we're gonna take that yarn, try to see how long we need it, and we're gonna stick and press. Cut, stick, and press. Now friends, if you get a little glue on your finger, just wipe it off your messy mat. I'll give you a messy mat today. Just wipe it off with your messy mat. You don't even need to go wash your hands. Okay, so I see where that glue is. I can tell it's not shiny anymore. So what happens too, friends, is if it starts to not stick, you might need to hold it a little longer. That one's a little long, so I'm gonna cut. So if you then run out of glue, you need to do a little inch. So inch by inch, cut and stick. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna keep adding and cutting until we get about halfway through, and then we're gonna do the rest. Okay, so now that we have the top where the hat is, we're gonna do some around his chin. So same thing as before, you're just gonna get a little bit in sections at a time. And if he's not sticking, just get a little more down, and then that will get that. There we go. So now I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm gonna keep placing these all around and adding glue if they're not sticking. Keep adding more. I'm gonna keep adding it all around.